I walked out of the shower, the steam still clinging to the edges of the mirror. My towel clutched in one hand, I turned the corner into the kitchen and froze. There she was, elbow deep in the chocolate custard I had just spent the last hour making. Her fingers coated in dark, glossy cream. Her lips curled into a half smile as if she knew what she was doing. As if she knew I would catch her. Again. And that's when I snapped. Stop fucking eating the food. Her face fell. Her eyes welled up. She turned from guilty to devastated in a second flat. And then the words that would echo in my ears for days came tumbling out. You're fat shaming me. But this isn't a story about body image. Not really. It's a story about boundaries, about being pushed, about what happens when the people closest to you treat your time, your energy, your help, not as a gift, but as something they're entitled to sabotage. So let's rewind. I'm 26 years old. I live with my girlfriend. She's 24. And for the most part, things have been okay. Not perfect, but we've made it work. Or we were, anyway. My sister, she's 23, runs her own bakery business. It's small, but she's passionate. Her cakes are beautiful, intricate, filled with rich custards and homemade marmalades. The kind of work that takes time and precision. Lately, she's been swamped. Orders stacked up. Staff short. She was drowning. So I stepped in. I offered to help by making the fillings at home. Custards, creams, marmalades, whatever she needed. I'd prep them in our kitchen, jar them up, and drop them off so she could focus on baking and decorating. It wasn't glamorous, but it mattered. Especially for someone trying to keep her dream alive. It was going well. Until my girlfriend started dipping in. The first time, I brushed it off. I came home from dropping off some lemon custard, opened the fridge, and noticed one jar had a little swipe missing, a little finger trail. I asked her about it. She giggled, said she just wanted to try it, said it reminded her of childhood, licking cake batter from her mom's bowl, said it was nostalgic. I explained gently that these fillings weren't for us. They were for my sister, for paying customers, that when someone dips their fingers in, the whole batch is contaminated, that I had to toss it, start over. She pouted, said it wasn't a big deal. I told her if she really wanted to try it, just use a spoon. I wasn't trying to control her. I was trying to protect the work, the business, my time. But she did it again, and again, and again. Each time, I'd find her fingers in the jar. Sometimes it was vanilla custard, other times, raspberry marmalade. I started keeping the jars at the back of the fridge, labeling them, taping them shut. Didn't matter. She'd undo the tape, dip in, and leave it like nothing happened. It wasn't about the taste anymore. It was about the boundary. I asked. I begged. I explained. She refused to listen. And then came the wedding cake. It was a big order. My sister had booked an important client, someone who could bring her referrals, maybe even open new doors. But the deadline was tight. She needed chocolate custard and fast. So I worked quickly, carefully. I let her know in advance. Please don't touch this one. If you really need to try it, use a spoon. Just let me finish this batch first. She nodded. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. I stepped into the shower, 5 minutes tops. When I came out, there she was, fingers deep in the chocolate custard, licking them clean, smiling. And that's when the dam broke. 5 times. I had asked 5 times, and she kept pushing, kept violating the boundary, kept treating my time, my labor, my sister's business, like it meant nothing. So I yelled, loud, sharp, tired. Stop fucking eating. The room went still. Her face crumpled. The tears came fast. She didn't apologize. Didn't own what she'd done. She said I was fat-shaming her. And that's when the silence hit harder than the scream. Because I hadn't said anything about her body. Not once. Not ever. This wasn't about weight. It was about respect. I had offered compromises. I had tried to include her. I even told her I'd bring home slices of cake that my sister offered me as thanks. But she didn't want those. She wanted this, the forbidden batch. The one thing I asked her not to touch. So why? Why would someone keep doing the one thing you ask them not to? Why would someone who says they love you show so little care for your time, your work, your family? And when called out, why would they turn themselves into the victim? The next few days were a fog. She stayed cold, distant, told our mutual friends I had yelled at her over food, that I was controlling, that I made her feel ashamed. But here's the part no one saw. They didn't see the jars I dumped down the drain, didn't see the late-night grocery runs to replace ingredients, didn't see the hours spent recooking what was already done, didn't see my sister's face when I told her I'd be late, again. And they certainly didn't see what it felt like to watch someone you care about throw away your effort like it was nothing. This wasn't about food. It was about boundaries. And when someone makes you feel like you're wrong for having them, it starts to eat away at you. I began to wonder, was I the problem? Was I being too strict, too harsh? But then I remembered, no healthy relationship survives without respect, and respect starts where boundaries are honored. So, am I the asshole? That's the question I kept turning over in my mind, not because I didn't know the answer, but because I needed someone else to see what I saw. That yelling is never the goal, but sometimes, after being ignored again and again, it becomes the breaking point. That people who love you don't sabotage your work, and that being called cruel for setting a limit is just another way someone shifts the blame. So maybe the question isn't just, am I the asshole? Maybe the question is, when someone keeps dipping their hands into what you've built, how many times do you let it slide before you take the jar away? Because I didn't want to yell. I wanted her to care, and she didn't. Not about the custard, not about the cake, not about me. At the end of the day, stories like this remind us, respect isn't measured in big romantic gestures or pretty words. It's measured in what someone does when you ask them for something simple. Please don't touch this. It matters to me. That's it. And when someone ignores that request again and again, they're not just ignoring the task, they're ignoring you. In this story, the custard wasn't just custard. It was trust. It was time. It was a commitment to help someone else succeed. And what's so heartbreaking here is that the person closest to him treated that commitment like a joke. That's not love. That's control wrapped in nostalgia. So here's what I want to ask you. Have you ever had someone cross a line you clearly drew? And when you called them on it, did they own it? Or did they make you feel like the villain? We tell ourselves that love means forgiving, bending, being patient. But sometimes, love means protecting what we've built, even if it means raising your voice, even if it means walking away. So, what would you have done? Comment below. We're listening. This is AITA Story Vault, where your boundaries are valid and your voice matters.